Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Ibrahim Traoré's era. Today this story is so powerful, so revolutionary, that it will echo far beyond the borders of Burkina Faso. Captain Ibrahim Traoré has just signed a $900 million agreement with China to construct a railway system across Burkina Faso. But this is not just any railway. No, this is the steel path to sovereignty. A line of iron and fire that will connect the nation's mines to the capital, Ouagadougou, ensuring that the wealth of Burkina Faso no longer bleeds into the hands of terrorists and foreign thieves. For years, Burkina Faso's resources, gold, manganese and other minerals, traveled from the mines to the city in ordinary security trucks. Terrorist groups would ambush them, stealing tons of minerals along the way, using that stolen gold to buy weapons, to spread fear, to keep the nation on its knees. Do you see the trap? The very wealth of Burkina Faso was being used to destroy it. Gold meant to build schools was turned into bullets. Minerals meant for hospitals were turned into landmines. Riches meant for progress were twisted into chains of terror. But Traoré said enough. Last year he nationalized all the gold mines of Burkina Faso. He told foreign corporations and local traders alike, the resources of this land belong to the Burkinabè people, and only the Burkinabè people. It was a bold, dangerous move, but it was necessary, and now he has taken the next step. To protect the nation's lifeline, he has banned the use of trucks for transporting precious minerals. From this day forward, the gold of Burkina Faso will no longer crawl on dusty roads, waiting to be stolen. It will thunder along railway lines, protected by the speed, strength, and security of trains. And here is where the story grows even greater. China has answered the call. They are not sending masters to dictate terms. They are sending engineers, experts, and technology to work alongside Burkinabè engineers. Together, they will lay down steel tracks across the nation. Together, they will design locomotives strong enough to carry the nation's future. Do you understand the symbolism here? For centuries, railways in Africa were built by colonizers, not to serve Africans, but to exploit Africa. Tracks ran from mines to ports, so that European ships could sail away with our wealth. Africa's ancestors were forced to build them with blood and sweat, yet they were never meant to benefit us. But today, Burkina Faso is rewriting that story. For the first time, railway lines will be laid not to carry wealth away, but to bring wealth home. This is why the project is worth $900 million. Because it is not just about transport. It is about transformation. Every track laid down is a declaration. Our wealth is ours. Our future is ours. Our destiny is ours. Think of the vision, family. Long trains of Burkinabè gold racing across the savannah. Guarded, secure, unstoppable. No terrorist ambushes. No stolen wealth. No bleeding of the nation's veins. From the mine straight to the capital, where the resources will be refined, taxed, and used for the people. And the people feel the power of this vision. When the announcement was made, the streets of Ouagadougou erupted with celebration. Youth shouted, "This is the future." Elders raised their hands and prayed, "May this line of steel last longer than our bones." Farmers said, "With trains for gold today, there will be trains for food tomorrow." Because they know this is more than minerals. This is the birth of infrastructure. This is the beginning of a network that will one day connect villages to towns, towns to cities, and cities to nations. Today it carries gold. Tomorrow it will carry food, people, and trade. Today it defends sovereignty. Tomorrow it will carry prosperity. The scale of this project is staggering. Engineers estimate that the railway will move not just gold, but millions of tons of other resources. Manganese, zinc, bauxite, all will ride the trains instead of trucks. Imagine that efficiency. One train carrying what 100 trucks could barely move at a fraction of the time and cost. This is why we call it the iron spine. Because just as the spine carries the lifeblood of the body, this railway will carry the wealth of Burkina Faso straight into the heart of its people. But brothers and sisters, the transformation does not end with minerals. No, this railway will unleash new opportunities across the entire economy. First, jobs. Thousands of Burkinabè workers will be employed to lay tracks, weld steel, build stations, maintain engines, and manage logistics. From skilled engineers to simple laborers, this project will feed families across the nation. Second, knowledge. Traoré made sure this deal is not about dependency but partnership. Chinese experts will work side by side with Burkinabè engineers, transferring technology and training a new generation. Soon, Burkina Faso will not only have trains, it will have railway experts of its own. Third, agriculture. Yes, agriculture. Because once the lines are built, farmers will use them too. Today, Burkinabè farmers often lose their harvests because they cannot transport goods to markets in time. Tomatoes rot, onions spoil, maize goes to waste. But tomorrow, those trains will carry food as well as gold. Farmers in the north will send their crops to the capital faster and cheaper. Traders will reach distant markets without fear. Food will no longer rot in the fields but arrive fresh on people's tables. This is how a railway transforms an economy, by connecting everything: mines, farms, cities, people, and then comes trade. With the spine of Burkina Faso connected, the next dream becomes possible, linking to Mali, Niger, and beyond. Imagine a future where a railway stretches from Ouagadougou to Bamako, from Niamey to Conakry, from the Sahel to the sea. Imagine African minerals and African crops moving on African tracks, not controlled by colonizers, but owned by Africans. That, my family, is the long vision. And it begins here, with Traoré's $900 million step. But of course, this vision terrifies the old powers. Do you know why? Because it proves that Africa can build. For decades they told us, you are too poor, you are too unstable, you need us to build for you. And yet here is Burkina Faso, landlocked, besieged by terrorists, sanctioned by the West, signing a deal to build a railway worth nearly $1 billion. This is why Western media is silent. They cannot show you these stories. They cannot let African youth know that a country dismissed as poor is doing what their own leaders refuse to do. If this truth spreads, the fire of revolution will spread with it. And already, that fire is burning. In Ghana, youth say, if Burkina Faso can build a railway, why are we still crawling on broken roads? In Nigeria, they ask, if a smaller nation can secure its resources, why are ours still stolen every day? In South Africa, they ask, if Burkina Faso can nationalize its mines, why are we still begging foreign investors? This is the true power of Traoré's project. It is not only iron tracks in Burkina Faso, it is mental tracks being laid across Africa, tracks leading out of slavery, leading out of dependency, leading into sovereignty. But let us be clear, this path will not be easy. Terrorists will try to sabotage construction. Foreign powers will whisper that the deal is dangerous. Propaganda will flow, saying Burkina Faso is selling itself to China. They will try to scare the people, divide the workers, and undermine the project. But the Burkinabè know the truth. They know that this railway is not about chains. It is about freedom. They know that Traoré has chosen partners who build instead of bomb. They know that this is not a gift but an investment in their future. And so the people stand with him. They are ready to defend the project, to guard the tracks, to protect the dream, because they understand what is at stake. If the railway is completed, Burkina Faso's wealth will no longer leak out. Terrorists will starve of funding. The economy will stand on steel legs, and Africa will gain proof that true independence is possible. Brothers and sisters, let me put it plainly. This is not just a railway. It is a weapon made of iron, wielded by the people, aimed at poverty, dependency, and terror. The iron spine of Burkina Faso is being built. And when it stands, the nation will stand taller. And when the trains run, the whole of Africa will hear the sound of sovereignty rolling on steel. This $900 million railway is not just metal and machines. It is a direct challenge to the empire. Because what the West fears most is not Africa being poor. It is Africa proving that it can rise. For decades they used our poverty as proof that we cannot build. They told us, without us you are nothing. Without our aid you cannot survive. Without our banks you cannot build. And yet in the dust of the Sahel, Traoré has signed a deal that exposes the lie. This is why they are trembling. Because the railway is not just transport, it is defiance. It is Burkina Faso saying, we do not need Paris to bless us. We do not need Washington to fund us. We will build with our friends, we will build with our people, and we will build for Africa. And let us be honest, family. If this project succeeds, the dominoes will fall. Other African nations will rise. Mali will dream of its own railway. Niger will want its own. Guinea will connect its bauxite mines to its cities. Soon the whole Sahel will be tied together by African steel. Do you see the danger for the empire? It means their companies will lose control over transport. Their grip on African minerals will loosen. Their ability to exploit chaos will shrink. Because a train that runs from mine to capital leaves no room for theft, no room for smuggling, no room for hidden contracts, and that is why they will resist. They will say Traore is selling Africa to China. They will say he is mortgaging the future. They will say this is debt trap diplomacy. But my family, do not be fooled. The real trap is the one Africa has lived in for 60 years, begging for aid, exporting raw resources, and importing finished products. That is the real slavery. Traore has chosen something else. He has chosen to own the wealth, to guard the mines, to build infrastructure. He has chosen to plant sovereignty in iron rails, and the people see it. When the news broke, the Burkinabè youth did not complain. They danced, they painted trains on walls, they sang steel for the nation, gold for the people, no more chains. In villages, elders nodded with pride, saying, "This is the leadership we prayed for." Soldiers saluted their captain, declaring they would defend the tracks with their lives, because they know what this means. This railway is not just a construction project, it is survival, it is protection, it is a guarantee that Burkina Faso's wealth will no longer feed its enemies, and beyond survival, it is pride. Pride that a land once dismissed as poor is now investing nearly $1 billion in its future. Pride that a nation under sanctions is still building. Pride that a young leader has achieved what generations of old leaders only talked about. Brothers and sisters, let us exaggerate this truth so you feel it. Every railway sleeper laid is a slap in the face of neo-colonialism. Every locomotive built is a sword against dependency. Every whistle that blows will be a roar of African dignity. And so, let us say it loud, the empire should be afraid. Because when trains begin to thunder across Burkina Faso, carrying gold untouched by terrorists, carrying food untouched by rot, carrying people untouched by despair, the rest of Africa will see and believe. And once Africa believes, nothing can stop it. This is Ibrahim Traoré's era. And I leave you with these words. When you hear the whistle of a train in Burkina Faso in the years to come, do not just hear metal on tracks. Hear the sound of Africa rising. Hear the roar of sovereignty. Hear the march of a people who have finally decided, our wealth will serve us, or it will serve no one. The Iron Revolution has begun, and nothing, not terrorists, not empires, not fear will stop it.